Hello, folks. This is Procious. A little bit of a mess, but a rough couple of days. Luckily, I had a good friend helping me out and looking out for me. So, Scott, thanks, brother. I appreciate everything you do. All right, so I want to talk to you today about the presidential election, who I voted for, why I voted for them, and the aftermath and a couple other things that I'm witnessing actually in my town. So, I'm going to first say to you directly to your face that neither one of the candidates were what I considered optimal candidates for the presidency. As a matter of fact, I didn't like either one of them at all. Um, but I had to pick one because, unfortunately, we have a two-party system that is absolutely broken. And if anything proves this, it's this election. Like it seemed to be the common consensus, even on CNN. It was saying their first on their website, their page is that voters don't want to vote for either of these people, which is really sad when it's like no one's excited for either party. Truly, I mean, like 50% might be advocating for one or the other, and obviously. That's what happened because someone got elected. But anyways, look you square in the eye and say I voted for Trump. Before I get into my explanations, yes, I'm aware that he's a bit of a sexist. No, that is not acceptable. Yes, I know he's not a very articulate person. But in that specific, in those specific instances, I want to say that the media abused the hell out of his wording when they took directly what he said instead of what he was trying to say. Like, it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what he was actually getting at. He just came across badly because apparently he's not a good auditor. He's not. Not auditor. Orator. And he's not articulate in any way, shape, or form. So he's just speaking like I am, just right off the cuff, So it created some problems. But why did I vote for Trump? Because I honestly, between him and Hillary Rodham Clinton, he was the lesser of two evils. Because at least with Trump, you know exactly where he's coming from. You know his stance. He doesn't believe that trade in America is favorable for American companies, which he's actually right. We import far too much from other countries. There should be an equal exchange. And what's happening is that we have a country where 50% of all employed people work for the government. We don't have enough manufacturing jobs, and we're importing cheap products from the Asia Pacific region, places like China, and we can't compete on any level with them. We can't compete with Mexico because they're willing to pollute, endanger their workers, enslave their workers to produce these products at low prices and ship them to us. That's why that so many products are in stores are so cheap. It's not because they're made in America. It's because they have nets and buildings in these countries so these people can't kill themselves. Like, these people are trying to jump out of the building and kill themselves because dying is a better outcome than continuing that slave labor. And these are the countries that we are trading with. This is the moral dilemma here, is that not only are we importing way too much, we're importing from companies that do horrible things to their people. And somehow we're okay for that, or okay with that, because we get to spend a few dollars less on an item. And Trump realizes that, and that's a great platform to go on. Second, he talks about immigration. Is he anti-immigrant? No. His wife is an immigrant. You know, I mean, I get it that she's Eastern European immigrant, but she's still an immigrant. I don't think the color of her skin had anything to do with it. Now everyone's going, he's a racist. He's a racist. Okay, let's start with the facts here. He said that the judge handling his Trump University case he brought up the race that this judge is Mexican because he felt that the judge would be biased against him given the situation with how the media painted him out as a hater of Mexicans. Yes, criminals do come across the border. If you want to see a case of immigrants doing horrible things entering a country, just look to the EU. The influx of immigrants from the Middle East has caused crimes to soar. The instances of sexual assault to soar in countries like Germany and not Switzerland. I think it's Sweden. Like, so don't, when he says that they're not sending their best and their brightest over here, he is true. He's honest to a certain extent. Because a lot of these people are not very well educated. They're desperate, and you're going to get some bad apples in that group. Does that make them all bad? Sorry, I got a gnat here. Does that make them all bad? No. There's and I realize this. The reason why these people are flooding over into this country illegally is because their lives are so horrible in Mexico that they're willing to risk imprisonment, being sent back, dehydration, coyotes, transporting across in hazardous conditions, and death. They're sending their kids over here so they can. The kids aren't criminals. They're trying to give them a better life. But I don't think he was saying all Mexicans. Like, there's nothing in what he said that all Mexicans are bad. What he was talking about the wall is that we need to actually enforce more heavily our borders. He wasn't saying that he was going to kick out every legal Mexican in the country. He wasn't saying that he was sending death squads to kill Mexicans. Like, none of that was even implied. All he was trying to say is that we need to enforce our borders. I will build a wall. Now, don't get me wrong, it was complete stupidity. The math involved is laughably bad, and he was so far off of that. And like, we're going to really spend $23 billion in the upkeep to make sure that this wall is not only up but secure. Good luck with that. And then the whole Mexico is going to pay for it. That's hilarious. Mexico's not going to pay $23 billion, and then simultaneously him wanting to get rid of NAFTA, which I think is a good thing. Him wanting to get rid of NAFTA, which would screw up trade agreements with Mexico. You can't do both of those and expect Mexico to compromise in any way, shape, or form when it comes to border control. So we're going to take away their money and make them build a wall? Yeah, that's not going to happen. So he said some stupid things. He did. But why would I vote for him then? Because while the Oompa Loompa clown says some dumb things, we at least know where he's coming from. We know who he is. We know what his agenda is. Congress is not going to allow him to do anything outrageous. They'll stop him dead in his tracks. He can propose things out the yin-yang. He can enforce executive orders like Obama has done numerous times over the last 8 years. But that's only for federal employees and federal officers. And even then, there's checks and balances to stop it if it's illegal in any way, shape, or form. So he doesn't have this unfettered access to nuclear codes, or we're going to have the ability to take away Roe v. Wade, like Tracy Green, that MTV frickin' moron was was saying in her Twitter. Also that I believe her exact words were "fuck you, white America." Um, you racist, misogynist. Like, really? Like you just told you just spewed hatred towards an entire freaking race of people. Assume that every Trump voter was a man. Every vote, I'm assuming that's what she's going with, misogynist there, because I doubt she's calling her fellow women misogynist. That, or she'd probably say self-hating misogynist. Um, these uh, racist. She called every white person a racist. Like, like that entire sentence that she had made, not sentence, the entire statement she made was actually her being racist, her being sexist, her being bigoted, because she got an outcome she didn't like. But like I said, it was the media painting him out to be these things. But he doesn't have this unfettered access where he can just do whatever he wants. There's still checks and balances. There's still three branches of government that holds everything together. And that's why those three branches are there. So while the clown may look bad on the surface, the rest of the checks and balances will hold him in place. So he cannot do anything dumb. He can't just declare war on people. The worst that he can really do is either not approve the budget when it comes up again next year, or he can be a douche in diplomatic situations. But that's it. That's all he really can do right now. Well, he can't do anything right now. He's only the president-elect. But you know what I'm saying? So all this fear-mongering about him with the Mexicans and the death squads and all this other stuff is complete BS. Now, yes, I'm aware that he was accused of racism in the 70s when it came to shoot. I'm sorry about this, folks. 1 second. Hello? This is he. Yes. Yes, I will be available. Okay. Yep, bye-bye. Okay, that was... I don't know what... I'll put my hair now. Oh, gosh. Alright. I'm really sorry about that, folks. I don't know why I was picking up audio while this thing was shut down. I'll have to check to make sure, to make sure nothing went through. Anyway, so where was I? Yeah, he doesn't have this unfettered access that the fearmongers make. Now, why would I vote for him over Hillary? Because Hillary has a history of concerning actions that are really scary. She is... She's a wolf in sheep clothing, is what it is. Where you know where Trump stands because he just speaks openly, without a filter. She, on the other hand, is cold, calculated, and she has been since day one. Like, she knew about the rape allegations against Clinton, her husband, for the '78 Arkansas gubernatorial election, and Clinton had said that he, while things might have been misconstrued with the woman, that he never had sexual relations with her. But multiple events throughout the year, strange, people dying randomly in weird ways, which could be coincidence. Who oppose her or deal with her. she is not as calm and composed as what she is made out to be. Like, there's cases where, people have openly said that, she's gotten verbally violent and abusive with her staff. And it goes all the way to her husband's presidential terms, where she, as soon as he got into power, she, there's first lady duties, but she wanted the universal health care, which was cut off from the rest of the White House. Like, it was completely secretive. There was no interdepartmental communication. She had complete and utter control over that situation. And when the universal health care failed miserably because people didn't like it because it was a socialist act and it would become a one-payer system, she blamed that guys hated her because she is a woman. No, the reason why they were so angry and protesting was because it was a socialist healthcare system. Mind you, this is not long after the Cold War. This was, 5-6 years after the Cold War, and after the Berlin Wall fell. In the 90s, the concept of socialism and it was just so appalling, which is so scary, why it's so accepted now. She with the whole Benghazi situation where there's opportunities. I mean, they invaded a U.S. embassy. A U.S. embassy is sovereign American soil. So these people attacked attacked American soil. It's no different really than attacking the World Trade Centers or the bombing of Pearl Harbor. It was an attack on Americans. It was an attack on American soil. And she did nothing to save the ambassador. And these brave security personnel did everything in their power to save this guy, even though there was a carrier in the region with a team ready to go that could have came in and stopped it. The admiral had to step down because he was about to disobey orders to protect these people. That admiral should be president, not Trump, not Clinton. Okay? So she's already shown that in diplomatic situations she would rather play the weak hand and let American soldiers die. So when everyone goes as well, Trump has no experience with foreign policy and dealing with the international community. Hillary Clinton's already shown that she's weak-handed when it comes to these things, that she's not willing to act even when it's in the best interest to save American lives. She just let a U.S. ambassador die and watched it. So, and she'll say anything and do anything to gain power. Let's show this. So she is willing to ignore and cover up everything that Bill did that was wrong, and even here's the kicker. When it came to Bill and the whole cheating, rape allegations and stuff, yeah, he cheated multiple times, he admitted. But when it came to the woman, he even admitted to sleeping with a woman after everything came out, after the impeachment and all that, and he was under oath. He admitted to sleeping with a woman that accused him of rape, that he said that he never slept with. And yet she still just kept sweeping under the rug, and she used his power to get into the position to have her own department for the Universal Health Care Act. She then used the situation with her husband's name to get elected as a junior senator in New York, and then she ran for, like, her bid for power was absolute. Like, there was no, like, she wanted power no matter what. And when someone wants power that bad, you should be worried. You should be very worried, because why do they want power? She was willing to step over bodies, anything to get there. And that's a scary ass president. I don't care whom you are. Who you are. That is a snake in the grass waiting to strike. Now, on top of that, when everyone says that Trump is a sexist, which in some cases he says very misogynistic things, um, Hillary Clinton's just as bad, where she blames white guys for not accepting her Universal Health Care Act simply because of their gender, and not because that her whole plan was a socialist one-payer system. Sue, she quoted things like while discussing. I can't remember if it was a feminist group, it was in another country, but she had said that the primary victims of war have always been women because they lose their husbands and sons. No, lady, go fuck yourself. The primary victims of war have always been men. The men that have lost limb in life so you can breathe to make that dumbass statement. Okay? And I do realize that there are plenty of honorable women in the military, some of them that have been in active combat, but we also have to acknowledge the fact that 97.8 of all 80% of all deaths in the military, just between the Iraq and the Afghanistan campaigns, have been men. So it's been primarily men losing life and limb, so she can make a dumbass statement like that. She's willing to flip-flop on anything and pathologically lie, which Trump did the same thing. But when she said that she didn't support NAFTA, even though there's video of her doing it, like doing speeches, the cabinet members saying, her pushing it hard. There's testimonial witness, let alone video of it. The fact that she came under sniper fire while, and I don't know if it was Kosovo or it was some Serbian region, I think. Even though there's video of her not being under any type of sniper fire. I'm sure she had a flak jack underneath her chair, which is standard procedure for that. But no, she walked out and had a casually stroll and hugged and met with little girls and kids, school, and casually strolled. Mind you, this wasn't like anything frantic at all. And casually strolled to the Humvee and drove off. No sniper fire. But when, who was it? Brian Williams, I think it was, had said that he was under sniper fire, and it was found out that it was a lie, and that he fabricated that. They kicked him off the air for like 3 months, I think, minimum. I don't even know if he's back. I haven't paid attention. But everyone just glossed over the fact that she lied about that. Everyone glosses over the fact that, oh yeah, she's for women. But no, she will step over, women who've made rape allegations against Clinton, and there's been multiple throughout the years. When Bill Cosby gets these rape accusations, feminists swarm and crush him, right? Because there's been so numerous. There's been numerous rape allegations against her husband, and she made sure she swept it under the rug and stayed with him. Why? Because his name held power. Her name, she wasn't liked. She's been never liked. Okay? So, and then she flip-flopped on the NAFTA, she flip-flopped on gay rights. Like, I personally think gays should have every single right that everyone else has. Everyone should have equal rights. I believe in equal opportunity for everyone. I don't believe in equal outcome. I believe in equal opportunity. So as long as you put in the effort, that the outcome can be yours. It can be the same as the next guy if that's what he was buying for, or same as the next girl if that's what she you know what I'm saying. But and she was Bernie Sanders really should have been the DNC runner, and I think he probably could have won. Even though I don't believe in socialism in any way, shape, or form, because money doesn't just fall from the sky, and even if you tax the shit out of the rich, you're going to pay for entitlements for what, a year or two? I mean, even if you took every single penny from every top 1%er in this country, I mean, I'm not just talking the taxing them on their earned income, I'm talking take away everything from them. It still wouldn't pay for the budget of this country for 1 year. we're still that far in the red. So, and talking about paying for colleges for free and all this, like, these are the things that make me not want to vote for her. And then on top of that, I have people telling me that I'm sexist, I'm misogynist if I don't vote for her because she has a vagina. That statement in general is sexist. To vote for someone not because they're the best candidate, but because because of their gender, that is the epitome. If it was reversed, and men turned around and went, you should vote for Trump because he's a guy, you know how quickly the trigger warnings and the safe spaces would be put up, how they would lose their shit. But because it was her, it was somehow acceptable. So it's the clown that we know what he's capable of and what he'll do. Sorry, I'm still trying to fight these damn gnats. Everything's clean in here, and yet I can't get rid of them, and I can't figure out. There's no standing water, or I can't win here. Anyways, they'll die off soon, I hope. I think the reason why they're staying in here is because it's the warmest room in my apartment. But people so quickly forget Hillary Clinton's history. They so quickly dismiss all the horrible things that she's done, all the things that she's done to gain power. She's willing to say anyone pandered to anyone, but you have no clue what she's going to do at the end. You don't know what her agenda is. You don't. Because she'll do anything to obtain power. But we'll skip over that. But these people are saying, they're acting like she's the best thing in the world. Well, what they're doing is that they're so blinded by her and this feminist ideology that they were petting a cobra thinking it was a friggin' puppy, and that damn thing was going to bite, and it was going to hurt. So and what makes it worse with her is because she has enough pull with she has enough inside clout with senators, and like her policies would actually go through. It would make it through Congress, and she could enact some Orwellian positions that would actually take away rights. So that is why I voted for Trump, because I know he can't do any real damage. But the stuff she proposes could actually make it through, and it would be, and I believe it would take away rights that are important to her. I think she would actually attack First Amendment rights. I think she would attack the Second Amendment rights. And mind you, once again, Lacey Green said that we're fascists for because everyone voted, the Republicans took over everything. They're now the majority. Hillary Clinton was caught on tape saying that if she had an opportunity, she would have rigged the Palestinian elections. So if you want to talk about fascism, you want to talk about totalitarianism, she would take away another country's rights to have free and open elections, just so she could have control. And this is the woman that they wanted. So yes, I voted for Trump. I voted for the Oompa Loompa clown. I'll shorten this up real quick, but yeah, we have people protesting in the streets, calling for violence. I mean, it was even on CNN, like this woman was calling for blood and violence because their candidate didn't win, and they're waving the Mexican flag and all this other stuff. No, your family came to America. You can have your culture, but you are an American. You're not a Mexican. Okay? We are a melting pot of people. We are supposed to be, and that's the problem, is that we segregate ourselves so much instead of embracing everyone's culture and making a unified culture where everyone's culture is one, the American culture. And they're saying, I'm afraid for my family. If they're illegal immigrants, then yes, be afraid. They'll get deported. Because that's what the law is. But he's not killing. He's not sending out death squads. He hasn't done anything yet. Yet there's people calling for war. Like, literally, war, a civil war. A woman doing it, no less. So, I mean, like I said, there's just check CNN, check Lacey Green's Twitters. I mean, this is what's going on, and it's hilarious because they will completely overlook everything that Hillary Clinton has done negatively for feminism, for life in general, her bid for power. Like, they'll ignore everything, but because Trump said a couple sexist statements, he's now the devil. Because he wants to enforce border patrol, he's the devil. Because that he wants to properly vet people coming from hotbed terrorist countries before they come to the United States in droves, mind you, which is not working well in the EU. Once again, just look to the EU and see how well integrating hundreds of thousands of immigrants is working. Crime's up, it does, and there's no way to properly integrate them. But that's racist instead of just being common sense that it's going to create issues. These are people that are fleeing, but they have no intention of integrating. They still hold their values above the values of the country that they're in. Their laws supersede the laws of the country that they're in, and that's their perspective. But that's not, once again, that's not racism wanting to protect, make sure we're not having terrorists or people with terrorist leanings come into this country, unchecked. That's not racist. That is in the best interest of every American citizen. So we don't have another San Bernardino. So we don't have another shooting of comic artists. So we don't have trucks killing citizens in the streets. So we don't have planes hitting towers. So we don't have bombs planted in basements and in subways. This is not racism. This stuff is occurring. Terrorism is a threat. They do want to hurt us, so we need to vet them. That's it. And if a mentally ill guy can understand this, why the fuck can't the left? So that's where I'm going to leave this now. I love you all. Even though you frustrate half of you frustrate the shit out of me, if not more. I love you all. I hope that we can bridge the divide. I hope Trump can find a way to bridge the divide and be a good president. In the meantime, American people, I ask you this. Let us dismantle the two-party system. Stop making career politicians. Because they become no longer for the people. Make a system. We should have more options with more coverage, so the best person possible can be the president, and not just what the GOP and the DNC gives us. Also, I beg you to understand that socialism will not work. We are in the red budget-wise. We can't add more entitlements. It doesn't matter how much you tax the rich, because they're going to either leave or it's not going to ever be enough. This is Procious. Take it easy. Live long and prosper.